So I was sitting in the garden and I thought I would tell a story about when we stayed in York. It was a few years ago, it was for Molly's 13th, and we stayed at the White Horse pub. I can't exactly remember where it was. It was in the city centre, but I'll put it where it was. But it was nice. It was nice and clean. It was the rooms were lovely. You'll see from the pictures and everything. But it was 2 single beds with bedside cabinets, and I had put there was a seat in there, and I had plonked it right next to the window because it was like looking out over a fountain that would come on in evenings. So Molly got scared anyway and wanted to move the 2 single beds together, so I moved them together, so it was like a double bed. Anyway, she says, do you think it's haunted? Is there anything here? And I says, well, ask. So she put her phone on the bedside cabinet, put it down, I think it was an iPhone, and she pressed record, and she started asking, you know, is there anybody here? Let me know if there's anybody here, make a sound. Do you have a message for us? Things like that. Then she rewound it back, and you hear this little voice say, she shit herself. I was pissing myself laughing. And I says, what did it say? She says, I don't know, I don't want to hear it again. I says, give us it here. So I put the headphones in and I was listening. Anyway, we went through a load of variations of what it could sound like, but it sounded definitely like pray. So I says, it's saying pray. She said, pray for what? I says, I don't know. I says, where did you put it? She says, I put it on this bedside cabinet. That's it. Look inside the bedside cabinet. I bet you there's a Bible in there, because they always have Bibles in like hotels and stuff. And she opened the drawer, and surely enough there was a Bible. I says, there'll be a Gideon's Bible in that cupboard, the drawer. And she opened it and there was a Gideon's Bible there, and I says, I told you, that's why it's telling us to pray. She turned round and said, who's Gideon? See the ghost? I said, no. I said no. But anyway, that was the start of it. And she had it on her phone for ages recorded, but she's got a new one now and got rid of it. Now I asked her for it if she still had it, and she said she didn't, so I was gutted. And then it was either the first night or the second night we stayed there. There was other people staying there as well, because you could hear them coming and going and what have you. And we went to bed. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and the smoke alarms went off, and you know how loud they are, obviously, if they're in a hotel or anything. So of course we jumped out of bed at warp speed, and you'll see in the picture exactly where the alarm is above the door, and it was flashing red. So we leapt out of bed, ran out to get out, and we got onto the corridor, and as soon as we got onto the corridor, it stopped. So of course I'm standing and I'm looking around and I'm saying, well, where's everybody else? Nobody else has come out. So, you know, and I said, Molly says, well, what do we do? And I says, I don't know. But it had stopped. So we reluctantly went back to our room, and we kind of just sat there for ages thinking, have we done the right thing? And nothing else was happening. Nothing was happening. There was no alarms. There was no noises outside. So there was nobody around. So we went back to bed and slept. And then the next day when I got up, I went down into, obviously we were going to go sightseeing again, so we left. I spoke to the owner, who was downstairs in the bar area. And I said, the smoke alarms went off at 2 o'clock this morning. She says, they couldn't have done. I says, they went off at 2 o'clock this morning. She says, no, because we didn't get an alert. I says, well, it was flashing red in our room, and it was loud because we loped up and ran out. And she went, well, none of the alarms went off. I says, they did in our room. So she came and checked it out, and she says, no, they're all wired to one system. So if that one alarm goes off, they all go off. Well, it didn't. It was just ours in our room. I said to Molly, what have you fucking started with that Bible? She said, it wasn't me, it was Gideon. So that was that one. That was the story of that. Nothing else happened. I mean, she used a Snapchat filter with the, you know, the dog tongue and everything. And we got a couple of things off that, but I swear it was just the chair. But yeah, definitely the smoke alarm was creepy, and the word pray as well, that definitely was creepy, considering where it was positioned on the top of the cabinet. And that was at the White Horse pub. I was, I think I was about 13 or 14 or something. We went with a group of friends and we stayed in an old B&B, and it was only for one night. The furniture was really old though, and it was like proper heavy old fashioned stuff, and even Baker light switches, which you're not allowed to have nowadays. And anyway, I was staying with this lass in my room. I can't remember her name, for the love of God, I cannot remember. But I was staying in this room with her, and you got up to the top of the stairs, and there was like a small landing because we were right on the top floor. And directly in front of you was a door, which apparently there was a bloke in there. And then a little bit along was our door. And then nothing else further down, because further down the corridor was like a bathroom area. It was a separate bathroom. It wasn't en suite or anything. Like, it was, like I said, it was an old B&B. And then you had like the stairs going down. So if you looked out of our door, you could see like down the corridor that way. That door was closed there, and nothing else. So anyway, me and this lass went into our room that we were sharing. You know, we're all excited and everything, all the kids are carrying on and we're having a laugh, and never thought anything of it, and went into the room, and she said, I'm just going to go down and see such and such. Can't remember the name, like I said, years ago. So she went out, and I was in the bedroom by myself sorting my clothes out, because we were going to go out for a pizza and that night. And there was a knock on the door, and I went, yeah, it's alright, just come in, I'm not getting changed and out. And then it happened again, there was another knock on the door, so I thought, oh, fuck. So I went over to the door, turned the knob, opened it, looked, there was nobody there. So I looked down the passageway and I went, it's fucking you, isn't it? I let this car go past. So I says, it's fucking you, isn't it? Stop mucking about. And I heard nobody else, I didn't hear a sound, nothing. There was nothing from this bloke next door either. So I thought, right, fine. So I closed the door, started back again, and there was a knock on the door again. So I went back, opened it, and there was nobody there. So I thought, you're pissing me off at this point. I'm going to catch you out this time. So I hope there's no spiders in my tea. Hold on a minute. I think DJ Druggy Jeff's just walked past. So anyway, I'll get back to it. So by this point, I'm getting really pissed off because it's just she just keeps knocking on the door, and I'm thinking it's her. So I stand at the door, and I've got the knob twisted, ready. So all I have to do is just pull that door open as soon as she knocks. And it was always 3 knocks, do-do-do, do-do-do, like that. So I'm standing at the door with the door handle twisted, ready to just pull it, and it got 1 knock, and I pulled it open. There was nobody there. It was absolutely smoked in the eyes. There was just nobody there, and I just thought it was so strange that I've pulled this door open and there's nobody outside of this door, and there was 3 knocks each time. So anyway, she came back up the stairs, and I thought, well, do I say anything? And I told her, well, she was shitting herself all night, she didn't want to know anything about it. Stayed there that night, and there was nothing. There was no more noises nor anything. And then the next morning at breakfast, the lady of the B&B came around with like teas and coffees and brought some toast out, and I just said, excuse me, there's something weird happened upstairs in one of our rooms. The teacher was just going, shut up Nicola, fucking shut up. So I says, no, I says, she says, where were you out? I says, the very top floor, but there was a bloke in one of them and we were in the next room. And she says, what do you mean, how, like, funny and everything? I says, well, nothing nasty or anything, it was just like 3 knocks over and over again at the door. And I was saying come in, but nobody came in. And apparently there was a house cleaner there. She used to go in and go up and clean all the rooms and everything. She would knock on the door 3 times. I think she had cancer or something. She'd gotten cancer and committed suicide. I don't know if it was in our room or anything, but they've said that it's not just our room, it's actually all the rooms. She goes around all the rooms and knocks 3 times. So that was the other one in York. And that one, I cannot for the life of me remember where the B&B was, where it is. I can remember the faces of the people I was with, but I can't remember their names. I'm sure she was called Claire. The last I was with.